Andreas Seidl's sudden departure as McLaren team principal ahead of taking up his position as Sauber Group CEO in January 2023 was the big surprise of this week's Formula 1 team boss upheaval. Seidl was a key driving force behind McLaren's ambitions of re-emerging as a championship challenger in Formula 1. Well respected both in the F1 paddock and the wider motorsport world, it's a big loss for McLaren. So how significant a blow is it for McLaren's hopes of getting back to the glory days and ending a title drought that stretches back to 2008? We'll answer that question in this video, as well as explaining why he's leaving now and the role Mattia Binotto played in that, and what to expect from his successor as team principal, Andreas Seidl. Seidl was under contract to McLaren as team principal until the end of 2025, so for another 3 years. Seidl informed McLaren CEO Zak Brown during the 2022 season of his intention to leave at the end of his current deal. Brown wouldn't be precise on the exact timing, but he praised Seidl for behaving in a very transparent manner. As Brown said, the move was understandable given Seidl's background with the Volkswagen Group, which includes Audi. Seidl, after all, headed the successful Porsche sports car project prior to joining McLaren, and Porsche is also part of the VW group. From the start, Sauber was interested in the possibility of Seidl joining earlier than the start of 2026. While the Audi partnership doesn't officially start until then, it's in the process of acquiring 75% of the team, so the process of what might be called Audification of Sauber will start far earlier. But it was Mattia Binotto's resignation as Ferrari team principal in late November that accelerated the process. That's because Sauber team principal and CEO Frederic Vasseur was Ferrari's target, leaving a vacancy for team boss. That led to a phone call from Finn Rausing, the billionaire owner of Sauber, about Seidl potentially moving in 2023. This conversation and the fact Andreas Seidl was willing to take on the team principal job led to what Brown referred to as workable terms being agreed with Rausing. That suggests a financial settlement was part of the agreement allowing Seidl to leave McLaren 3 years early. And that's exactly what you'd expect, given he's such a prize asset. Beyond the mechanics of how it all happened, it's easy to see why Seidl was keen on the move to Sauber. As well as allowing him to move closer to home, it makes the most of his unique skill set as an outstanding leader of a racing team and his vast experience of working with German manufacturers at a corporate level. As well as his Porsche experience, he previously headed up BMW Motorsport, having also worked on its F1 project in the first decade of the 21st century. It's also an appealing project with vast potential, and given Sauber has confirmed Seidl will be CEO, with the team principal being appointed to work below him, it's also a promotion of sorts. But while Brown understood Seidl's reasons and took a pragmatic view on allowing him to leave, it is a blow for McLaren to lose such a high-quality team leader. Seidl has been instrumental in McLaren's plan to re-emerge as an F1 frontrunner. But as he's always keen to stress, the changes that allowed McLaren to re-emerge as a leading midfielder from 2019 to 2022 were already underway when he started work there in May 2019. Seidl's focus was always on the big picture and the strategic decisions needed to recapture the glory days for a team that has only won one World Championship in the 21st century and slumped badly during its second decade. While the recent trend might seem unconvincing, sliding from third in the standings in 2020 to fifth this year, albeit having ended an 8-year win drought during 2021, that's not the real measure of success. That will come in 2024, 25 and 26, when the major changes made at McLaren will all have had a big effect. Seidl pushed hard for the change from Renault to Mercedes engines, resulting in that switch for 2021. He was also instrumental in making the case for the new wind tunnel at McLaren's Woking base. McLaren has long been reliant on the Toyota Motorsport facility in Cologne for its wind tunnel work, given its own in-house tunnel wasn't up to the sky-high standards of its leading rivals. Once the new wind tunnel is complete during 2023, it is expected to raise the potential of the team significantly. But it won't be until 2024 that McLaren has a car that has benefited from substantial R&D work in the new tunnel. McLaren has also invested heavily in a state-of-the-art driver-in-loop simulator. This was another area where it had fallen behind, having pioneered the technology in the late 20th century. There have also been major gains made on the production side, improving the speed of getting parts from design to the car. Every aspect of the team has been improving, but right from the start the focus has been on 2024 and beyond, and confidence is high that this will pay off. So it will take time before Seidl's effectiveness can be definitively showcased by McLaren, as it hopes to do, joining F1's front runners. But if it happens, he will have been one of the key architects of McLaren's re-emergence. Andreas Seidl is not a high-profile figure in Formula 1, but he was always McLaren's first choice to succeed Seidl. It's not because he was likely cheaper than an outside hire or readily available, but because he is what you might call the ideal continuity candidate. Don't mistake this appointment for a lack of imagination on McLaren's part. Seidl has been an influential player in the team's improvements, most recently in his current role as Executive Director Racing. His background is as an engineer, having spent 15 years at Ferrari before moving to McLaren in 2015, along with Fernando Alonso. He was Alonso's race engineer from 2010 to 14 and previously worked in that role alongside Kimi Raikkonen, having earlier been Michael Schumacher's performance engineer. At McLaren, his influence has grown since he first came in, to the point where, under Seidl, Seidl was one of the key department heads working with him and reporting directly to him. This means he was integral in the changes McLaren made to make its initial recovery from finishing 9th in the championship in 2017, then realising the team had serious problems to solve after the switch from Honda to Renault engines in 2018. Seidl is well respected and well liked in McLaren, meaning he's a popular appointment. He says he intends to have a hands-on role as team principal and stressed that he plans to focus on the core objectives of the team, which are, obviously, making a quick and effective car. He also talks about the way his characteristics and those of CEO Zak Brown blend well. That means not only in their shared vision, but also the way their skill sets cover the ground needed across McLaren's leadership. What's clear is that Seidl will retain significant parts of his current role as racing director while taking on the team principal hat. Brown will be able to focus on the wider company and the commercial arena in which he made his reputation. The main difference for Seidl is likely to be the public aspect of it. While he does occasionally make media appearances in his current role, always offering perceptive and insightful commentary on McLaren's progress and showing he has a great command of the subject, he prefers to be low profile. Now, he will be one of the main public faces of the team, a challenge he's up for. Certainly, he can't be accused of taking this job so he can grandstand in press conferences or on TV, and Seidl admits he had to give serious thoughts to whether he could adapt to doing this. What's clear is he's eager to take a characteristically rigorous approach to preparing for this dimension of the role. But Seidl's priority will be ensuring McLaren makes progress on and off track. He fully understands the strategy Seidl put in place, and that makes him the ideal person to see this project through, and, crucially, ensure the loss of Seidl doesn't disrupt McLaren's masterplan too much. And if all goes as expected, it will mean he's at the helm of a team that's able to win races regularly in the middle of this decade.